Hello, my fellow readers, iDark5777 with another link-related video. As always, with the rulings of this, the link monsters will be based on the archetype they are based around, and they will be and I'm not a meta player. So again, I'm not into the competitive play. I just do this for fun. But I know a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. I played Yu-Gi-Oh since the very beginning, so it's like I at least know what I'm talking about. So let's get and as always, remember the score will be based on the archetype itself, how it works in that archetype, and not any other archetype. So keep that in mind, especially if I remember right. The first one of this video. Who is it? Isode, Two Tails of the Noble Knights. Truthfully, I'm going to get a lot of flack for this guy, for this chick. Because, here's the thing. Isode is a good card. It's a really good card. The problem is, it's not a good card in the Noble Knights deck. Oh. Okay. So what's the deal? She's a light earth. She's a light warrior, link monster, 600 attack, and a link 2, and the link points are southwest, southeast, and she requires 2 warrior monsters. Okay, so a lot of the warriors are, easy enough to make. Noble Knights or Warriors. If this card is link summoned, you can add 1 warrior monster from your deck to your hand, but for the rest of this turn, you cannot normal summon, set, or special summon monsters with that name, nor activate their monster effects. Okay, so you're pretty much just using it as a cost for something, or, to have your hand set up for the next turn. Fair enough. You can set any number of equipped spells with different names from their deck to the graveyard. Special summon 1 warrior monster from your deck, whose level equal to no number of cards sent to the graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. This is bad for Noble Knights. Why? Because their spell cards are they're actually good, but the problem is, you pretty much get them stuck in the graveyard. I mean, Noble Knights, before making this specific video, I actually looked at each Noble Knight card, and once the spell cards are in the graveyard, they're not the easiest thing to get out of the graveyard. I mean, outside of 2 main deck monsters and the extra deck monsters, you're pretty much the equipped spells are pretty much stuck in the graveyard. Not to mention the fact that you can't summon the monster you grab. You can't summon it. You can't even activate its effects at all. So you can't do jack shit with it. At best, you're just using it as a cost for like a different card effect, which is fine, I suppose. But in the basis of a Noble Knights deck, this thing is garbage. Outside of a Noble Knight deck, it's actually pretty dang good. I know I'm going to be cheating here, but I'm going to have to do a caveat on the rating. In a Noble Knights deck, how good is it? It sucks. You can't use the card you add, not to mention most of the Noble Knight cards kind of work. Not to mention a lot of the Noble Knight cards only work if you have their equipped spells equipped to them. So it's not exactly the smartest idea filling up your graveyard with the equipped spells. Maybe if the equipped spells had recover effect, but they do have a recovery effects. But the problem is they only recover when they're sent from the field to the graveyard. If they have better recovery effects, then I say, okay, this at least makes Noble Knights playable. Barely, when you send a Noble Arms card to the graveyard, put it back in your deck. Okay, so at least, granted, that kind of be redundant because you're sending cards to the deck and then you're filling up your deck again. So it's, or at least have the monsters have better effects to at least recover the equipped spells. Because if your entire archetype is based upon keeping the equipped spells on the field, then you should have, effects that allow you to keep them on the field outside of, add them from your graveyard to your hand, or add them from your deck. Oh wait, they do have one that adds a Noble Arms from the deck to your hand, but the problem is it has to have a Noble Arms equipped to it. Yay! A lot of the effects are not that good. I mean, not to mention, oh, wait. Do you know another archetype that did the equip spell thing, but did it better? Bylons! They did that better. For one thing, they can actually recover relatively easily their equip spells. Not these guys. You have to go through a bunch of hoops just to get the Noble Knight Arms cards back from the graveyard. Not to mention, by the time you're doing that, your opponent's wondering why the hell you're playing Noble Knights in the first place. You should play Vylons, because Vylons at least are better. But overall, if I had to rate this thing in a Noble Knights deck, I give it a big fat 3 out of 10. It's not the most bad, it's not the most useless card ever. I will be getting that far later. But at least the first effect allows you to do something, anything in Noble Knights. Granted, you have to wait a turn, but if the spells had better recovery effects, like I don't know, like when a Noble Arms is sent to the certain Noble Arms if sent to the graveyard, you have an old Noble Arms card from your deck to, if you're basing a deck around equip spells, you better have the entire effect, all the monster effect relating to, keeping those equip spells out of the graveyard. But as a caveat, if any other deck besides Noble Knights, I gotta give Isolde a 9 out of 10. It's an overall good card, and not sure, and yeah, you use it at a free cost, but you're setting up your hand. It's a very invaluable card, and I can't really fault anything. Plus, if you're using certain, not to mention, you can easily combine this with a level 1 monster like Phoenix Blade and send Phoenix Blade to the graveyard, have a level 1 monster, summon on the field, get your Phoenix back, so you can even, so you can keep using it. So it's like, you plus off it with that. So it's like, it's invaluable to warrior decks, it's just not good in Noble Knight decks. Which leads us to our, I believe, yeah, here it is. Which leads us to perfectly to our number 2 monster, Linkuriboh. Yay, Linkuriboh. Yeah, is Kuriboh an archetype? I consider it an archetype, so I'm throwing in Linkuriboh. He's a dark level 1. He's a dark 3 Cyberus Link monster with 300 attack and a Link 1 being South. And in order to summon, you gotta have a level 1 monster. Okay, so it's pretty much the reason why you use something like Isolde. Combine this with Isolde, you get a level 1 monster on the field. You ditch Phoenix Blade, you get the Phoenix Blade, you get to summon a level 1 warrior monster to the deck. You sacrifice the level 1 warrior monster in your deck, you get this guy. Sure, you're not going to be able to kind of link him up with something because his link point is south, but, it's the fun that counts, What is the effect? When an opponent monster declares an attack, you can tribute summon this card, change that opponent's attack to 0 until the end of this turn. If this card is in the graveyard, you can tribute 1 level 1 monster, special summon this card. You can only use the effect once per turn. Overall, this is actually a pretty dang good card. Probably not as good as a lot of the other cards. Far better than Isolde in its own deck. I mean, but then again, can you make a Kuriboh themed deck? I don't know. If someone can show me a picture of a Kuriboh deck, I'll consider it. But I gotta give it a 5, mainly because I can't put it anywhere because its effects are actually pretty good. It gives you the standard protection effect that all Kuribohs have. Plus, you can get this thing out of the graveyard relatively easy depending on the deck you're using. If you're using Spirals, just get Quick Fix out, use his effect, get him onto the field, sacrifice him, get the Link Kuriboh back, and so you can pretty much just keep recycling Link Kuriboh to protect you at least once per turn. But overall, I can't rate Link Kuriboh any higher simply because I have no idea what a Kuriboh-based archetypal deck would look like. It'll be very slow and defensive, but if someone can show me a Kuriboh themed deck, you know what? I'll make a separate video, actually talking about that Kuriboh deck specifically, and rate it on that deck, or at least have something to base the actual pointage on. But I just gotta give it a 5 out of 10. Sure, it's a good card. If I may have to cheat here, we'll give Kuriboh a 7. We'll give little Kuriboh a 7 out of 10. Simply because his effect's good, you can easily get him out, you can easily keep summoning him to protect you, unlike a lot of Kuribohs, which you have to go out of your way to, constantly get out of your graveyard to discard again, or just run clear Kuriboh. But overall, he's a fun little card. He's a little adorable. Not to mention, he's adorable! Okay, so what do we have next? Number 3, Maldoche Fresh Sistart. Ooh, she's so adorable. I bet you someone's already drawn Rule 34 of this chick. Because, you know, she's Sistart. She's like a little sister. So she's an Earth Fairy Link monster. Okay, most Maldoche monsters are Earth-based, so not that hard. It's a fairy and has 2 link points. It's southwest and southeast again. And it requires 2 Maldoche monsters, of course. Maldoche cards. And while this card points to a Maldoche monster... Sorry, I'm thirsty. Talking this much is giving me a thirst. Maldoche spells and traps you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. And neither player can target them with card effects. If this card on the field will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can shuffle 1 Maldoche monster from your graveyard into your deck instead. Thank effing God. If anything, this card is not only good, it's freaking overkill. I think this is actually right up there with Phantom Quartz, the Gladiator Beast, and even Spiral Helix as like the bet, and Electromite. I haven't gotten the double Helix yet. As like a really, really good archetypal Link monster. First off, it gives you protection from the spells. If you're playing Maldoches, then you gotta protect your spells and traps, because Maldoche monsters, you know, when they're sent to the graveyard, they're sent to the deck instead. So it's to a Maldoche player, it's not really that big a deal because the name of the game in Maldoche decks is trying to keep up your resources faster than have your resources faster than your opponent can get rid of them. Faster you can keep restoring your resources, the more likely you're gonna beat the crap out of your opponent with cute little girls. Hey. So of course having some way to protect your spell, because the moment you play either any of the spells or the traps, because the traps are probably not as good as something like Chateau or Ticket. So having the ability to protect the spells, because the moment you start playing the spells and the traps, most people they're gonna go straight. They're not even gonna bother with the monsters. It's just gonna go immediately shift their blame and go after the field spell or Ticket. They're gonna go after them. So having protection at all is amazing. Granted, it kind of backfires on you and the fact that you can't do anything with them, but you're not gonna want to do anything with them, because you know they kind of need it to maximize your Maldoche plays. Not to mention, this card fixes the main problem that Maldoches has. If the opponent somehow manages to keep them in the graveyard, they're not going anywhere. Outside of Chateau, you pretty much have no way of recovering Maldoche monsters from your grave, like any concretely, mainly because most of the Maldoches are searchers or they're bouncing effects. So having a card that allows you to periodically, you know, not only protect your spells, protect your monster, as well as making more recovery, that is amazing. The only way you can screw up with Sistart is if you summon Sistart and then be an idiot and play Chateau right after, so that way you have no way of protecting Sistart. So as soon as they get rid of Sistart, they can focus on the field spell and Ticket. Overall, this is an amazing card. I think this is an overall amazing card. It's overkill. It does everything a deck does and more. 10 out of 10. If I could make this any higher than 10, I would give this to Maldoche and Electromite. Maybe not Phantom Quartz. Maybe Arnold Siegel. But yeah, this is an overall amazing deck. An amazing card, because I really like Maldoches. They're really adorable. So, number 4 is Master King Archfiends. So first off, you're wondering, wait, Archfiends is an archetype? Yes, Archfiends is considered art, but there's 2 different Archfiends. There's the chess Archfiends, and then there's the more generic Archfiends. And this is kind of a chess Archfiend Link monster. Which came completely, who knows where, I don't know where. Okay, so he's a Dark Fiend Link monster, 2000 attack, Link to Southwest, Southeast, and he requires 2 Fiend monsters. Okay, you're running an Archfiend deck, so you're going to be running Fiends no matter what. Okay, so as I mentioned, he's a freaking retread of the, what's the first name? Something King Archfiend? I can't remember. Okay. I'm curious. I was like, King Arch F-I-E-N-D. Sorry, I just got curious. Okay, where is he? Terror King. He's a retread of Terror King Archfiend. Alright, so let me go back to him. Because I completely forgot what he was called. There he is. Okay, so we're at Master King, so of course expect some either dice rolling or coin flipping. With dice rolling. Once per turn during the standby phase, pay 500 life points or destroy this card. Or freaking have Pan Labyrinth on the field. Yeah, their field spell that prevents you from paying life points to keep them on the field. You could just do that. Once per chain, if you pay life points, except during the damage step, you can send one Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard with attack or defense equal to the amount paid. Oof. Once per chain, if a Fiend monster is sent to your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can roll a 6-sided die. Then it places effect on one of those monsters, based on the result. If it's a 1, you add it to your hand. If it's a 2, 3, 4, 5, shuffle it in the deck. If it's a 6, special summon that thing. This is a freaking Adagio on crack. First off, it's the chess Archfiends. So paying the 500, but have Pan Labyrinth, you can have to pay. Second effect, it's garbage. I'm sorry, it's garbage, because at most you're going to be paying, what, 500 life points, because at most you're going to use this guy in the newer Archfiends, so that way you only have to pay for this guy, and you're only going to get, what, 500 monsters, with a 500, into the grave with, like, 500 attack or defense. Granted, I think a lot of the Archfiend monsters have like, really low attack defense, so that... No, not what I wanted. Ads! Stop with the ads! Oh yeah, a lot of them have 500. Yeah, they have. Oh yeah, so you can get some of your lower level, like Eris and not eccentric, and Cavalry. You can do something with the payment, but it's like, why really need it? I mean, there's really no need for that second effect, mainly because the third effect is, oh boy, that's actually pretty crazy. First off, you roll a die. Second off, you freaking benefit no matter what the die is. Granted, if your Archfiends get Regicade and this thing somehow is protected on the field, and you only bring back one monster. Granted, it's still an overall good effect. You either add the monster to your hand, you shuffle it in the deck, or you special summon it. So it's like you get a monster, you roll a 6, you get this thing, you roll a 6, you bring it back. So they spent all those resources on a goose chase. Granted, it's a luck-based effect, so it's not really the best and most reliable way, but overall, it's a good, okay second effect. The first effect is garbage. You're gonna have to like go out of your way to want to pay this, because you're gonna have to pay every single standby phase. And depending on the deck, they're not gonna let you. They're either gonna get rid of this thing, or anything. But overall, it's a good card. It has its uses, but it's very situational. It's really only useful in... It actually uses a lot of Fiend decks, like... not Dark World. Dark World, they kind of need them in their hand rather than the graveyard. Fabled? No. Yeah, you could use these in a Darkest Diablos deck, actually. Because a lot of the other monsters have pretty low attack or defense points. So yeah, you can use it in this guy's deck. Overall, he's situational as heck, but if you're able to make him work, I see no reason why to make him anywhere lower than in a 7. He's overall a good card, but that first effect, you have to be, unless it depends on what monster you're gonna have to get, because more than likely, you might shoot yourself in the foot based on being forced to pay the life points and then having to activate his effect. So it could be good or bad. Plus that, not to mention that second effect, roll the die. You plus off it either way, but, you know, people are only going to care about if it's a number 1 or it's a number 6, depending on what fiend deck they're doing. And finally, we get to number 5 of this video, Mermail Abysslacia. I believe that's how you pronounce it. She's not even a mermaid. She has legs. Okay? And that's new. I thought mermaids threw fishes. They were fishes. Okay. So, Mermail Abysslacia. It's a water sea serpent link 2. 1600 attack. Link points are southwest, southeast. And in order to summon, you must have 2 fish, sea serpent, and or aqua monsters. Okay. So, that's a lot of water decks. So, you can easily use pretty much any water themed deck. Mostly, but again, we're going to put this into mermails. Okay, so monsters lose card points to gain 500 attack and defense. You can only use each effect of Mermail Abysslacia once per turn. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, add 1 mermail monster from your deck to your hand. And if this card in possession, owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's attack, attack or water effect, you can send 1 water monster from your deck to your graveyard, then target 1 water monster in your graveyard, special summon in defense position. Okay, this is actually above good. This is actually 10 out of 10. I'm just gonna say the name right now, score right now, 10 out of 10. First off, you use this in mermails. A lot of mermails kind of benefit off being discarded by their own effects, so, you know, not to mention, you can use this Atlanteans. Come on. Atlanteans and mermails go hand in hand. If you gotta use Atlanteans, you know, they all really benefit from being discarded. So this is pretty useful. So you can easily use her as an offensive play or a defensive play, depending on which card you discard. Not to mention, you send the moment she's gone, you can send any water monster to the graveyard. Bring another water monster. Even the card you sent from the deck to your graveyard. It doesn't even specify. It just says send a water monster from your deck to your graveyard, and get 1 water monster, bring it onto the field. So you can actually even use this offensively. You send her, you have her attack, and then use her effect. Get something like Abyss Megalo, and you run that shit over. So you send him from the deck to your grave, then you summon him from the graveyard to the field. Hey, and then you can keep plussing off that. There's so much utility you can use with her in water decks. And even in mermails, it actually even makes a very viable extend player. I mean, overall, 10 out of 10. So that's this video. Let's see how many are left. How many are left? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 left. So this is going to be coming into 2 more videos. So I will see you on part 5. I will see you.